The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode number 232 of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. Excited to have everybody along for the ride with us this evening. Got a stacked show. We're going to be talking with John Hase, first and foremost, to talk about Mandan's upcoming Demolition Derby on Saturday. We're going to be recapping a little bit of the action from Road Rage Entertainment's Derby from over the weekend with Jake Sherman and that whole crew. And also we're going to be catching up with Mike Schmidt, also to talk about Mandan, and David Diver to talk about the HIllbilly Heaven event that's coming up in Lisbon, Ohio at the Columbiana County Fairgrounds in Ohio, that is planned for September the 15th. A couple of quick orders of business. I just got a note here as we were setting up the show from BJ Haining. Surgery went well. He's got a number of screws and a bunch of rods. Took about 3 hours to put his foot back together. A bunch of wire holding it back together. So he is now officially plated. And the driver from up in Canada, he broke his foot in that orange and black number 20 at the Bash for Cash. Pretty significant injury. He's going to be done for the summer, but plans to get back into the car. So get well soon to BJ. Glad that foot surgery went at least as planned. He knew it was going to be rough when you broke all those bones in the middle of his foot. Arthur Sukut, Ryan Deal, Jordan Ingram, Jason Koch, all having birthdays, good supporters of the show. Happy birthday to all those folks. Jamie St. Mary's sister, friend of ours up in the Malone area, she's still having some struggles. They have a GoFundMe that's been started. If you look up Jamie St. Mary's page, it's Jamie and then St. Mary, all one word. They've got a bunch of information about the GoFundMe there for his sister Julie, who's struggling with some heart challenges right now. She is responding to yes and no questions with head nods, which is a good start, but nonetheless, she does have a long road ahead of her, so needs all the support that she can get. Some local people up there that are involved with the 31 company also donating all of their commissions to the GoFundMe account, which is outstanding. Big hearts on all those people. Jamie St. Mary would do anything for anybody, so we certainly need to band together and support him as they go through this tough time, to say the least. Land of Legends Raceway, Ontario County Fairgrounds in Canandaigua, has a Demolition Derby this Saturday. It is the Brian Sipple Memorial Demolition Derby. Brian passing away in April. They got a couple different divisions that are going to be on deck there. Compacts is going to be held after the races are over as part of the regular racing program. On the front stretch of the track, just like usual, Wayne Ellison is involved with that one. Wayne Ellison, known for the Paradise Speedway Fall Show, that he's active with that. Stirring Dirt Racing, they've got their Return to the Golden Spike coming up here this month. We'll be talking to them in the coming weeks. And then we've got all the results from the Road Rage Entertainment Derby to get to as well. But without any further ado, our first guest of the evening is going to be right there, John Hase. Now that I've been correct in the pronunciation of that. John, how are you?
Pretty good.
That's good. Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us for a little while. Mandan's show, it's shaping up to be a good one. They've changed the rules a little bit for this year. You guys excited about this?
Yeah, they keep taking away from our rules a little bit, trying to get more cars, and a few things I wish we could have had, like spindles. I'd love to have better spindles on the car.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, the rules are pretty decent for the most part. So
the rules this year, basically, they're Blizzard Bash cars without spindles, right?
Right. Yep.
So shot placement on the front wheels on this stuff is going to be at a premium. You think it's going to be wide open the way that we've seen before, or are people going to be more patient and try and aim for those front wheels and knock the steering out?
I think there's a few teams that are just going to run just stupid hard, and I think there's a few that are going to play it smart. But
well, that is the bell curve. You know, it seems to be the case all the time. There's the guys that are there to put on the show, and there's the teams that are there to go for the money. You got a good group of people surrounding you. What's your team's plan at this point?
Well, I think we're divided. I think half of them want to drive really fast, and half of them want to drive slow. So
right.
I think it's going to be good. We got a good group of guys. They all drive pretty good with their head we get in the zone, I think it's going to be a good show. It's be nice to have some more teams there. I'd love to have a little bit more competition. It makes the team driving a little bit less than usual, but
sure. Yeah, because you guys are going to go head-to-head, right? There's 8 teams that are registered. They had 12 lined up, and then you had a handful of them that have dissolved, backed out, parted ways, whatever. So your group at this point, comprised of Mike Schmidt, Tori Hyde, Kyle Wetzel, and yourself as team crowd pleasers. You guys are going to be head-to-head against one other team, winning team advancing onto the feature, as is typical with the Team Demolition Derby, likely some sort of consolation round for the non-qualified teams to put one more into the main event. It still has the potential of having 5 teams on track for the main event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like potentially 5 teams on track for the main event. That's 20 cars. You got to still drive with your head on a pivot.
Yeah, you got to have some. You got to get through that heat, but you got to have some car left for the end too. So it's going to be tricky. I think it'll be just see who sets the pace and who tries to control the pace.
Well, you've got plenty of car to start with anyway, especially up that neck of the woods. There's still plenty of old iron builders up there. You're going to have plenty of car around you to start with, but that's where you run into the issues is you've got a car around you that's built just the same as everybody else, and we're all hard. You start worrying about when things are going to be so hard that they bend in funny places or break in funny places, and you don't have that insurance policy behind the front wheels.
Yeah. They let us have the firewalls. Let us keep our firewalls in this year, which they never did in the past. So we got a little bit of support there, but there's still going to be a weak link in that front end yet. So
it certainly does mix things up. You guys are going to be against a couple stud teams. The 5-time champion Shea Walden and Dookie Scroach teaming up with CJ and Kurt Zacharias. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. Team Reckless Motorsports is going to be back. Jeremy Sharp, Sean Huff, Dave Schwartz, and Gary Cook. Derby Nation.tv, they won it. They won it last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was Wally Meyer ended up carrying the. What's that?
I don't remember now.
I think Wally got Mad Dog for sure, and I think maybe it was Ponzo's crew that won it.
Ponzo's team won it. Wally got Mad Dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a great run. Wally Meyer, Bob Meyer, Lance Pritchett, Lucas Pritchett working together. Team Ramrod is Eric Fuhr, Alex Brandenberger, Parker Hall. Parker Rawl and Eli Hickman, and then Team Full Throttle, Nate Westerberg, Dustin Yanni, Booger Mickelson, and Matt Stenberg. Your crew, like we talked about, and then Zach Ponzer, Brett Stringer, Brady Larson, and Eric Toddy working together on Team Ass Kicker. So, I mean, the team rundown, certainly nothing to thumb your nose at on that side of things at all. It's going to be a phenomenal show. And the other thing that they've got going for them is they've got some new bodies coming in to work with the inspection crew. Matt McClure from Postal Mopar and Zach Fetro are going to be joining Jeremy Weebush. So I don't think you're going to have any issues with stuff sneaking through that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, isn't
it? Cars are definitely going to be hard. It's going to be a fun show. This happens at the Dakota Speedway in Mandan, North Dakota. All the inspections go Friday night after the races conclude until dark. It's a neat place to be because you've got the position of the track is so far west in the state. It's virtually the mountain time zone, but it still works on central, so the sun doesn't set until 10 o'clock at night. So they're going to do inspections until they can't see anymore. Inspections will resume on Saturday morning, and then the Demolition Derby goes off Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a good one. I mean, when you run down that lineup, we always joke about who you want to see and who you don't want to lock horns with. It doesn't seem like there's one team on there that you prefer to draw in the opening round.
There's really not. We're short of cars, but the quality of cars that are coming and the quality of drivers is top notch. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath. I really feel it's going to be a bloodbath out there.
Yep, I believe that is a fair assessment of it. Trying to keep up with everything as it evolves. Brian Tompkins joining us. Better late than never. Did the door work?
What's up, bud? Yeah.
It was pretty rigged together, but we got it to work.
It was something. I think I'll still work again for you later.
I had to Velcro the emergency exit open, which is the first time I've ever had to Velcro a door open. Really Velcro a door at all. But it worked. It got us by. I'm trying to find the list of vendors for up there in Mandan. Big Z's Derby Parts are going to be on hand for the vendor list. Derby tees, E2 slider, Eric Fuhrer going to be selling stuff, heavy D transmissions, Coke trans coolers, NLR ski ink. If you got pre-orders, you can get a hold of those guys, and maybe they can find some room on the truck to bring the rest of that stuff up to you. It's going to be a fun one. I mean, it never fails. That's an outstanding show. Darren Brown, he's going to be bringing the cameras out. He's going to be taping everything, mixing it together, and then loading it to the internet, so everybody's going to be able to watch it after the fact. What makes you keep coming back to this show? Is it's the biggest demolition derby in North Dakota as it's billed there at Dakota Speedway. It's a can't miss, hard hitting show. But from your perspective, what makes you keep coming back?
Probably the competition. I mean, I play around a lot at my local shows, and kind of enjoy that. And I just kind of want to get out of my comfort level a little bit. And biggest show in North Dakota, I guess I want to be part of it and want to be there to see it succeed. And
the dynamic has changed a little bit. The landscape of that has changed a little bit now with Scroach and Dookie and Shea going one way, and the Zach and Zach show going another direction. Duke and Duke Scroach and Shea Walden, fantastic drivers. They've certainly been crucial in that team being so dominant there. Is there any chance at all that there's going to be a fall off on that team with two other drivers coming in with CJ Zacharias and Kurt Zacharias?
Wow.
I know, right?
It could go any way. It could be. It could run together, and have a dominant two-team dominating, or
right.
They could be completely apart and work on just destroying each other for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm shaking the dice on that one. That one's a 50-50 to me, I guess.
Right, and now you've got right.
I'd like to watch him run his his Thunderbirds again. They were nasty.
Yeah, that was.
They were nasty.
T-birds.
He's got them figured out. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and,
he does
and,
pretty good with them.
And you're putting the Zachariases out there with Dookie and Shea. I mean,
they do all right for themselves.
Yeah, they do just fine. It's just about impossible to pick who's going to walk out of there a winner. Obviously, John Hase is hoping that the crowd pleasers win. But I think
absolutely.
I think John's biased though.
I'm just hoping I'm walking out. That's all I really. If I can walk out a mile 2 legs, I'll be pretty happy. That's a pretty rowdy derby. A few years ago, Zacharias got a hold of me in a corner, broke the block off, broke the transmission off the back, and that was an expensive derby. Had my foot pinned in there a little bit. I kind of got out on scrape, really, but yeah, as long as I can get out of there, I guess I'll be pretty happy. I guess so.
So I mean, we get out of there meaning that you get to the A main, or get out of there like you're able to walk out of the car and you're not carried.
I want to walk out of the car. That's the goal. The rest, yeah, if I can get to the A main, I don't know. I hate to be cocky and say we're going to be in the A main, but God, I'm feeling it this year. I got a good team. The guys really seem like everybody's kind of getting their stuff together really good, and good motors, trannies, and I don't know. I'm hoping for it, but
Mike Schmidt got the Mad Dog Award at the first Capital City Carnage, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, you guys, I feel like the team that you've got around you is due. You guys have had some crummy luck, and you guys have obviously been building the program up. We've seen your name traveling a little bit more. You've seen the performances starting to get up there, starting to close in, more top 10s, more top 5s, things like that. So, for you to say that you're feeling it, and coupling that with the fact that fortunes are due to smile on you, I mean, I guess there's good reason to go in there with some confidence. It's more than just going in there. Well, everybody goes there because they want to win. That's the whole point of going to the Demolition Derby. You don't want to win, you shouldn't be there. Blah 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 blah. There's certainly some evidence to support that you guys are due. It's going to be a long road, though.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be an uphill battle the whole way. But
well, I'm sure that you're up to the task.
I hope so. If I can get out of my head, that'll be good. Like Bob Myers got me on his team for Topeka up there. Blizzard Bash, I ended up filling in for him, and boy, I got in that feature, and I just couldn't figure. I was just waiting for the pace of that feature just to go insane, and I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it. And
right.
All of a sudden, I was out on my second fire. I was like, well, that never happened. Why? God dang it! I was really. If I could have got out of my head a little bit, I think I'd have been good. And I don't know. I got my head on my shoulders now. I think I feel like I got a plan and I got a mission, and I'm just going for it. I'm not going to hold back this year.
How does that mental game play out? I mean, how long does it take? Well, first off, how long does it take as a driver before you can come to that realization, to have the wherewithal where you can say, I'm going to be patient enough to wait for somebody else to throw the first punch, and then beyond that have the mental state and the confidence you build to say, I don't have to wait for anybody else. I got just as hard a cards as anybody else, and I'm going to be able to throw the first haymaker, and somebody's going to go down when I throw it.
Exactly. I don't know. I think I've been doing this like 20-some years, and I haven't quite figured out when that happens, but I'm getting closer to figuring it out.
Right.
North Dakota is one of those places where you don't see a lot of sandbagging. Those guys say go, and they get right after it. That's, we noticed when we I think it was the second year, we went to Blizzard Bash. There was more and more guys that come in from the Dakotas, and those guys were putting on a show and building hard cars and driving hard. Mandan's always a tough draw. I mean, there's no easy, no easy ends, no easy heats, no easy anything. So definitely going to be a great hard hitting show.
There was room for 16 teams to go on the roster. They had 12 signed up. We're at 8 right now. It's a $500 entry fee to get in. So if you want to throw a car together in the next couple of days, feel free. It's basically the equivalent of Blizzard Bash cars with no spindles for the team draw. First place, $12,000 to win. Second place, $6,000. Third place, $4,000. $2,000 for fourth. Support classes are on the docket as well. The two-man extreme class is out there. That's where they got the steering wheel on one side, the pedals on the other. $125 entry fee there. It's a maximum of, I think they had a maximum of 24 cars planned for that. They're sitting around 15 for that one. $2,000 to win, $1,000 for second, $600 for third. Limited weld class, open division, 24 car max. They're sitting around 15 for that one. $125 entry fee. So you still got time to get in on that if you want to. $2,000 to win, $1,000 for second, $600 for third. The four-man Team B main also pays money. There's going to be $1,600 to win there, $1,000 for second place. And the compact cars, they're sitting about 15 there. They're just about full. $75 to get in, $1,000 to win there, $600, $400, $200, and $200 back through the top 5 at the compact team derby. This needs to be muted, and it should have been. It's still
you're popular.
Yeah, and it's distracting. I hate when that goes off. I don't know. Matt Freese is. Are we live right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't fall asleep and miss something. But
as far as I know, I'm going to go online and check.
No, I'm looking at everything. Everything says that we're up and running. I don't know. There's guys that are asking. There's a gentleman online right now asking if I mean that we're going live tomorrow, and I don't. I mean that we're live right now because I pushed all the buttons and we started streaming. Then we started talking to John Hase. John, I'm going to get your name right one of these days, I promise. You and Eric Tatey are in the same boat.
I don't care how you say my name as long as it's spelled right on the check. That's all I care.
Yeah, that's the best answer I've ever heard.
That's it right there, in a nutshell.
I got it in my head to say it one way, and no matter how many times I remind myself to say it, it's
I don't think the concussions ever really bothered you that much.
What's that?
I don't think the 9 concussions have bothered you too much.
I was talking with one of the kids that play sports in school, and we got to counting. Actually, I miscounted. I'm up to 11.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to get one more. Got to get an even number.
Well, it's from the first one to my most recent, it was like one every 2 years, which is good. I mean, football players consider that retirement.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good. It's good. John, man, what day you plan on getting in? You getting in Friday? You get through tech early?
Yeah, I'm going to get Friday afternoon. I got a couple of my pit crews aren't getting off till like 5, 6 o'clock, so we'll get in there. We'll skim in there at the end and, I don't know, see if we can get teched and get the big list for tomorrow and drink some beer all night and hope cutting doesn't go too miserable the next day. But
I like all those plans. That sounds like a great weekend.
Sounds like a fun weekend.
Yeah. And I really shouldn't have to cut, but, everybody interprets the rules different, and it's just miserable when you're down there and you're trying to get through with something, you got your theory in your head, and you're telling them how you read it, and they're telling you no. And, yeah, I always hate teching's usually the fun part. I kind of enjoy the bantering back and forth between the techs and stuff, so I enjoy that part, I guess. So
It is a chess match. I mean, it's a perpetual chess match between the builders and the tech guys, and the builders have sat there with the rules and talked themselves into the fact that they were right and they can justify it every which way they have to. Mm-hmm. Push come to shove, I mean, Dustin Anderson's a pretty understanding guy. Just go ahead and build however you want. Just plan on cutting the next day, because cutting Saturday, it can't be that hard. It's basically, in a giant desert where the pit area is, and the sun usually makes sure that it's approaching 100 during the day, so it shouldn't be too bad doing all the torch work.
No, I think he had me cut about 4 hours last year on my back bumper brackets. I got pretty entertaining with. I thought I could use every piece of metal that came off the bumper bracket, and he didn't like that idea. So I cut all the way up to the humps, pretty much 4 hours straight to get it. So
just think about that, Brian.
No,
cutting for 4 hours just on the bumper bracket.
I'm good. If I put that much into it, I'd say, okay, that's fine. We agree to disagree, and I'd go to the next show I could run. There's no way I'm going to cut for 4 hours. But, I mean, I guess if you're a teammate, you would have to cut it. But I wouldn't want to weld for that long to have to cut for that.
We're gonna get into road rage here in a minute, but Dan Bolton got taught a little bit about a team derby. Yeah, I gotta fill you in on this. He made all the right decisions, though. I'm not picking on him. We'll get into that here in just a minute. John, is there anybody that you want to make mention of that helped make sure that the team and your car specifically gets to the track?
Well, I got my two pit guys. My cousin Shane, he's out there just about every chance he can get helping me on the car, and my buddy Rieger, he's a welder. He comes down and welds on his off time, and I guess my wife would be the biggest supporter. I mean, she gets the mail every day and keeps seeing more derby parts keep showing up. And she always gives me that look like, what the hell are you doing? And she doesn't really say too much, but I'd have to probably give her the biggest props. Tomorrow's our anniversary, so I get to get a little bit of time off to go up for supper for a change, and nice. I guess I'd have to thank her a lot.
Hey, real quick, if your wife sold all your derby stuff for what you told her that you paid for it, what would happen? I got a hell of a great wife. If she sold it for everything I said, she'd get every penny I paid for it, because I got no secrets with her, because she balances the checkbook at the end of the year. You just can't lie. You just can't lie on a check. So. Perfect. That's
excellent.
That's a great spot to be in. That's awesome. Well, John, I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us for a little while. I wish you the best of luck up in Mandan, and let us know how the summer's going.
I will. Thank you very much, guys.
We'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Yep, bye.
There goes John Hase. Still not right. Got it backwards. I look at this thing. I've written it 3 or 4 different ways. It's no. That's the way it looks. It's John Hase. Hase. He told me how to remember it. Just remember the last 3 letters and make sure it rhymes.
Chris, good to see you, man. How was your weekend?
It was awful.
Computer blowing up.
It was terrible.
But listen, in all sincerity, was it nice to just film a derby and watch and not have to?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't nice.
I thought maybe you could relax and just enjoy the derby.
No, there was no relaxing. I left the computer on and hooked up to the internet. I blew through as much data, communicating back and forth with XSplit and loading new programs and uninstalling programs and running updates on the computer as we would have as if we streamed the derby. I tried everything I could. The computer still isn't fixed. Actually, just now as we were talking, I got another follow-up message asking for more information from the guts of the computer. We had everything ready for spares except for a second computer. That's the only thing that we didn't have. That computer that we had a second streaming platform loaded on it just in case something happened. Like, let's say we were locked out of the account. Let's say something bizarre happened. I had a VLR player that had the ability to capture a computer, a camera streaming to the computer. So instead of streaming to the internet, I had a VLR system that was set up in there, would capture the stream of the computer. So basically, instead of streaming to everybody, I was just using the camera to stream to the computer itself. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't work. It still couldn't find the cameras that way. I went into the guts of the computer and I found each of the cameras plugged in via USB. It recognized them, but in the streamer itself, it wouldn't recognize the video capture. On site, we updated and reloaded and uninstalled and reinstalled video cards. We did a bunch of stuff on the backside with Microsoft and the functionality of that system. We did a bunch of stuff in terms of going to a retroactive version of before some push updates that were done to the computer remotely that just happened because the computer was on overnight. So it did those automatic updates.
Yeah.
It just did it.
Yeah.
I undid all of those. I undid updates to the to XSplit, our streaming platform. There was, and even right now, it won't even recognize the onboard webcam. And no, it was not fun at all.
Well, I knew none of that stuff would be fun, but I thought maybe you could just enjoy Derby. But
no,
I figured you were probably.
I had a bunch of people. I'll tell you why.
Oh, I know why.
I had a bunch of people that were messaging me and stuff.
I know
saying,
why.
And it's not even the people that were talking trash. I can kind of deal with them. It usually takes a long time before I get twisted out of shape enough to post something.
Mm-hmm.
It was the people that kept saying, "You're who you are. You'll figure it out. We'll be waiting for the link." It's an enormous amount of pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
And I couldn't deliver for them, and that's what drove me the most crazy. I will give one guy credit. There was one guy there that I don't know. There was a lot of people there. I was surprised. It was a nice, diverse clientele with a lot of new people, which was cool. The feature was more or less the feature had settled, and they were doing all the pictures and stuff. Everything was pretty much wrapped up on the track. I was heading down along the backside of the grandstands. There was two guys that were talking, and one of them pointed, and he came over, and he came up and he said, "You're the one that was announcing." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You're the one that was on Facebook the other day crying about all the people talking trash about you." And I said, "Well, I don't know if crying is the word, but it gets a little frustrating." He goes, "I just wanted to tell you good job." And I said, "Well, thank you." He goes, No, because you busted your ass to prove them all right today." And I shook his hand, and I said, "Because you at least have the balls to say it to my face." And I kept walking. So that was a pretty defining moment for that Derby, for me anyway. So no, it wasn't that fun. Not really.
Wish I'd have been there.
Doesn't even matter.
Oh, it does. It does. It really does. Because stuff like that just... You're a better man than I am, Chris Marker. That's all I can say.
We're gonna get Dave Diver on the phone. We're gonna do some more road rage coverage. Dave's got somebody coming to buy a bunch of converters. Hey, Dave, let me put you in. Dave's got somebody coming to buy a bunch of converters, so we got to get him on and off before that guy shows up, because if he shows up while we're on the air with him, he said he's just going to hang up on us.
That's going to be a nice exchange.
Yeah, it's definitely one that he wants to do. Dave is getting ready for Big Rock Productions Derby, September the 15th, HIllbilly Heaven, which is an interesting name for it because the cars, there's a bunch of different divisions. One of the divisions is basically clones of the Smash It cars. There's not a lot of hillbilly in those. It's more, engineers. They look like spaceships inside. So,
without a doubt.
At the Columbiana County Fairgrounds in Lisbon, Ohio, September the 15th. Dave, how are you? Say that again.
I said I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
good.
all right. It's been a busy week to say the least. We got a stacked show on deck, and I'm glad you were able to come and hang out with us for a little while. You guys sold a little bit of stuff at Bash for Cash. Spread the word a little bit more about HIllbilly Heaven. You've got, I think this post said $100,000 worth of prizes to be given out at that Derby, and the entry list is just growing and growing.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that because I think we're the first, people to do that of the type of raffle that we're doing. The first prize that they're giving away is Can-Am side-by-side. Then there's enclosed trailers, there's guns, there's four-wheelers, there's cash prizes. It's absolutely amazing what we're trying to do here. We're going to build this thing and build it, and it's going to be huge.
The show itself has got multiple different divisions. That headline division is going to be the Smash It class, but you've also got a couple chain and goes that are wire style builds for 80s and newer.
Yeah, it's going to actually the main class is is a mild weld class, which is like turn back the clock class.
Okay.
And then we're going to have that class. We're going to have a wire class. We're going to have a smash it class, kicker cars, compacts, youth, and power wheels.
How do you guys get around the deal with the youth cars? Is it just because it's in Ohio, they've got different rules for what New York is allowing?
I don't know. I don't know what New York's rules are. But
well, they don't let you do it.
I pay a healthy insurance policy, so that way, they can run it. That's our next generation of derby drivers is our youth class. And the way the youth is going in the direction, of what's happening with all these school shootings and stuff, we need to get these kids out and start doing this stuff to get them away from video games and all that stuff.
Sure. Well, I suppose that's probably the best answer that we could get right there. How do you get around it? Well, we pay insurance. That's pretty much the way to the way to cover it. The mild weld class. I'm thinking back to in Western Pennsylvania, the Reckless Warrior series. They had that light limited weld or the super stock style rules. You said you're going more the way of the turn back the clock style rules, which is a little bit heavier. With your driver response so far. And the deep list, but the list hasn't been made public yet, but the deep list that you've got working, does it seem like those guys are still wanting that, or did you just find the right date late in the year so it gives them time to build?
I guess I'm in the area of where a lot of the guys like to build that.
Yeah.
And Smash It, Tim and Russ, they have all the fairs around here. They're very good friends of mine, and I didn't want to step on their toes or anything.
Sure.
So I called Tim up and I asked him about using their set of rules identical. And he said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And he actually has the fair down there 2 weeks before our show. So that I didn't want to take anything away from him, and I didn't want people to have to build a different type of rules to come run my show. So Tim was nice enough to let me use those rules, and I think that's helping us too, because Tim has a lot of the fairs around here. And the response that I got from the bash when people came up and talked to me about it, it was absolutely amazing. Some of the people that I would never even thinking about coming said that if they had cars left over, they're coming.
Cool.
Wow. When I was reading the rules, I saw a couple of divisions specify that it's 80s and newer. The turn back the clock, or excuse me, the turn back the clock. The mild weld class, is that open to anything? And if it's open to anything,
that's the exact same rules as Smash It. If they ran that car at Bash for Cash, they could run that car at my show.
Cool.
Subframe Imperials, but not full frame then?
Yeah, no full frame mounts. No subframes are allowed. I had a guy that he was from Iowa come up to me and ask me. He's like, I heard you're putting on a show. He says, I was building a car for here. I didn't get it done. Can I bring it to your show? I said, yeah. He handed me his entry money right then and there.
That's awesome.
I said, well, okay. I said, where are you from? He says, I'm from Des Moines, Iowa.
That's great.
So it's going to be a great show. There's going to be great drivers. The food's going to be great. And the raffle, is by far the top, Yeah,
you're pulling a ticket every... Thing. Did I read right? You're pulling a ticket every 10 minutes?
Yes, every 10 minutes. Till 6 o'clock, I believe it is.
Okay.
It starts at noon. It starts at noon and it goes till 6 o'clock, I believe it is. So it's my partner that is in on this. He's doing all that. Justin Garwood from G Limit Productions.
Okay.
He's handling the food and the outdoor show and the raffles, and I'm concentrating on the derby part of it.
Right.
And like I said, he went by far over the top with what he got going on here, and just look for better and better things to come as the years progress.
Okay, I got a question for you, but I got to set it up with this question first. So, you're a parts builder. What's the better advertisement for moving your products in terms of the cradles and all that other stuff? Is it better to have a guy winning with it or have a guy that's driving absolutely out of his mind and turning his car inside out and having your equipment hold up? What's the better advertisement?
That is a very hard question to answer.
Okay.
Because obviously I have one of the best drivers in the country, running my stuff, Bobby Brockway.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always in the top 2, 3,
Yep.
if he's not winning it. But I also have guys that are balls to the walls as soon as the word go,
Mm-hmm.
I would say winning has a lot to do with it, because that means that your car's built right, everything's put together correctly, and people look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very hard question to answer. You talk to some guys, they want products that are going to withhold 70-mile-an-hour shocks.
Right.
So our products are proven. Like I said, we've been around. Matter of fact, me and Brian Nearat, we were talking about this at Bash. Who was actually vending first, me or him? and we really couldn't pinpoint on who was vending first.
Right.
So we called it a draw. We started vending at the same time.
Same day, same hour, same minute.
Yep, same day, same everything. We just called it a draw. But no, me and Brian, we've been around a long time, and our products are proven, and time again, they won every big show there was in the country. There's a lot of good cradle makers out there now.
Yep.
And I would still say that I'd put my products up against anyone's.
So I asked that question because how you answered that could have helped me understand how you guys were going to police the pace of the show. Do you guys have any plans at all of trying to make sure that the pace stays hard? Do you feel as someone who's been around the national derby scene for as long as you have, that the drivers will self-regulate that and they need to go drive for the money whichever way they see fit? Or do you want to get involved and keep the pace up so that you see those cars getting turned inside out and those guys that want to go wide open have the opportunity to?
We got some stuff that we're going to announce at the Derby that I'm not going to say. I talked to Toby about it. I talked to Justin about it already.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to run their cars.
Right.
And there's going to be some benefits to the people that are running my products at that show.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there's going to be benefits for that.
Sure.
But no, they're definitely going to have to run their cars. They're not going to win it, by going and sitting in the corner. That's for sure.
Right on. Did you catch Toby's inspecting too?
That's just what I was going to say. If forgive me if I haven't read it. We've been a little busy, but who's your head tech and the inspectors with him, or haven't you got that all?
No, everything. As soon as me and Justin had our first meeting, I got on the phone, and Toby Hiley's my head inspector. For any rules questions, you call him.
Can't beat that.
There's going to be Bobby Brockway there. Billy Estep's going to be there. Jim Youngblood's going to be there. Actually, believe it or not, Bo Lockwood said that he would come help inspect if I wanted him to.
Cool.
So, it's going to be some of the best inspectors around. They inspected those cars at the Bash, so they know what's done to them. They know what was done to them, and they'll know what was done after the show. So it's going to be a great show. I talked to Toby, at least once or twice a week, and he said that there's actually people coming in the inspection line asking him some questions about the cars to run at that show, which that's pretty cool. It's in September, and there's people already asking about what they can do and what they can't do, and how they can fix stuff to make it work.
Well, that's because the mild weld class is going to take 3 months to build the car.
No doubt. Ohio style. But that's the thing, I mean, I think having Toby Hiley, as your head inspector and your inspection line, I mean, it just adds so much credibility because, I mean, he's definitely in the top 3, I would say, all-time Derby drivers. Most successful. I mean, he's been at the forefront of change in building styles and all sorts of stuff. And I mean, he hasn't driven in a while and he hasn't built in a while, but I'm pretty sure he could come out of his not driving and go anywhere and win. So
yeah,
no ring rust.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a good friend of mine for many years. Actually, I sponsored him when he drove. With cradles and headers and stuff like that. So he knows what to do and where there should be stuff and where there shouldn't be stuff. And then there's going to be no confusion when they roll through inspection line, because when everyone that calls me and they start asking me questions, I'm like, call Toby.
Yep.
And
that's the right decision, though.
Said, he goes, what's that?
That's the right decision, though. I mean, stay out of it. You got a head tech for a reason. It's nice to know what the questions are, but you're not saying something, and then that conversation comes back around where somebody does something and says, well, Dave said it was okay, and no. The answer that I gave everybody that had a rules question was you got to talk to Toby. That's what the answer needs to be.
And that's the thing. I mean, unfortunately, we've been to some shows where the promoters came in and overruled inspectors.
Yeah.
And there's nothing good that can come of that.
Nope.
I mean, we've all been there. So
it's going to be a great show. I'm going to get a couple guys out of retirement that only run a couple shows a year.
Cool.
Brian Schumann said he's going to even come and run. So
nice.
You'll be able to hear his motor there. I'm sure because he's a nut when he's running.
Yeah, we've heard his car a couple times. Is your cat guy there?
Yeah.
Is your converter guy there?
What's that?
Is your converter guy there?
Yeah, the converter guy just pulled in actually, and
right.
and stuff. But like I said, the show's going to be great. The prize is really good, and the giveaways. They're $50 a ticket for the drawings. You'll be able to buy those online also. So
okay.
If you're out of state, you don't have to be present to buy them.
Sure.
Cool.
In about 3 weeks or so, you can go to G Limit Productions on his Facebook page, and you'll be able to buy them right then and there and pay for them. And they'll send you the stubs and everything. And you don't even have to be present to win. So you can be sitting at home in September doing whatever and get a call that you want a 2018 Can-Am side-by-side or a Polaris four-wheeler or enclosed trailer.
Cool.
Pretty nice.
Hey, Dave, I just got one more question before you go make all your money. Is there any chance by September you could have those Mopar headers for me, or are you going to be too busy?
Listen, Casey Smith, he runs Mopar, so I think I'm going to have to make him a set. So he ranks a little bit over you, but I might try to build a set for you.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Dave, man, I appreciate you coming on the show.
All right, thanks, guys.
I know you got to get going.
See you, Dave.
We'll see you. Dave Diver, Big Rock Productions. We're going to be catching up with Mike Schmidt here momentarily. But first order of business, we got to run through some of the recap a little bit of Road Rage Entertainment. Derby done at the Broome County Fairgrounds in Whitney Point, New York. Devin Germain, man, almost had it. Had a fire under the hood of his van, stopped. Guy Raymond was able to keep his motor running, got back into a little bit better position, and Devin ultimately went down second place. Guy Raymond did a great job to win that, but Devin Germain certainly was in a spot where he could almost touch that championship, almost. He won the junk run with the minivans and the small SUVs. The compact side of things, I'll give you one guess on who won it. Compacts. He's already won in Virginia. He's already won in Kentucky.
Sickles.
He's already won in Florida. Now he's won in New York. 4 wins this year. Steven Sickle coming up with a win over Kevin Beeler. And the Team Trucks, Team Havoc, ended up winning that. It was Mike Klinger, Greg Yagi, Brian Yagi, and Chris Lantner. And they had a heck of a run. All 4 trucks were still running at the end. which was pretty impressive. And
I talked to Gully, and he said it was got to be 4-1, and he just started sending it.
Yep, he did. They might have lost one right at the very end, but for all intents and purposes, it was 4-1 when Gully carried the torch for Team Double D's down to second place. The V8 class was a phenomenal feature. That was really the V8 team feature was awesome. Team Carnage second place. Team Rosa coming away with the win. Josh Buell, Joe Backus, and Josh Decker. Decker winning it overall. Coming full circle, his first win was in a Malibu at Metal Destruction. Drove a Malibu to win in this one, which was pretty cool, on his hometown track. So it was a big deal, and there was nothing given to him. He had 6-7 cars on him the whole time. He did a great job. A lot of booze for him too. He earned it. Devin Huber coming away with a win overall in the V8 class. Larry Rooker, his nickname's, I think his roof sign said Leadfoot. Larry Rooker lived up to all of that. That car was turned inside out. He looked like he was done like 3 or 4 times. Still able to battle back and drove the wheels off it. I was really kind of pulling for the guy. Cool. I mean, his car had no business still running, and it was, and he was not saving anything. Devin Huber did a great job. Was all about keeping position, making smart shots, and caving in Larry Rooker from the left rear corner. The back bumper was basically perpendicular to the ground in the back window in a box style Crown Vic. It was a lot of fun to watch. And then the compact team derby, the headline division, Keith Kroll, Gene Mackerly, and Joe Calabrese with the 570 crew coming away with the win in that one. Good chess match played out at the end. It ended up coming down to like 2-on-2. Two of the Carbon County Crusher guys against the 570 crew, and the 570 guys ended up winning it. A little bit of attrition. I want to recognize all the drivers that were down there and were part of that show. It was awesome. It was a great derby, and Dan Bolton in his heat was driving the wheels off his car. Ripped the bumper off, was hitting with the core support, ripped the fenders off it, and in the pits he was talking about loading up. And they're like, no, this is a team show. You have to fix it, and he did. He made all the repairs because there was like nothing left to fix. Made all the repairs to it, came back out, and he got a couple hits in the feature, and who knows if that would have been, cool. if there was more car left, what it would have led to. But the team bad, Andy Vona, Brian Leonard, and Bolton, they were pretty focused on.
Pretty popular out there, huh?
Yeah. But it was awesome. They had a great fight. Brian Leonard and Guy Raymond had a great fight in that feature. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Did I see that Harold Benjamin ran down there?
Mark did. I didn't see Harold's name.
Oh, okay.
Mark was in the junk run. I think he finished top 5 in the junk run with a pre-run Explorer.
Cool. I unfortunately wasn't able to make it down to the show.
He made a hit. He made a hit where I'm pretty sure if there was a speedometer in that truck, it would have showed over 10 miles an hour. I was proud. It was
poor Mark. Mark's knocked me out of my seat before. I can't.
He caught somebody against the blocks, and I felt bad for that person.
Yeah,
when they woke up, they were going to be sore.
Yeah, I can't bust on Mark too much. He's knocked me out of my seat a few times. But no, we had some football stuff going on. He
just unfriended me on Facebook,
and that's again football stuff tonight. That's why I was late. But I've heard nothing but good stuff for Road Rage. Congratulations to Dan and his crew. Jake and his crew. I heard it was a good show.
We're not good with names tonight. Just is what it is.
I was thinking of Dan Bolton and Jake. That's close enough. But congratulations, first show out of the way. Now everything will be just easy from here on out. So, sounded like it was a good show. Wish I could have been there. Did you already do the rundown on other winners throughout the country? Or pretty sure Trey Hewer picked up a win over the weekend. I think
was that at Kansas show, the domination?
I believe
show.
so.
Did he?
And then teammate, I can't think of his name. He won the first show he ran after Carnage.
Eddie Chick?
Yeah, I think he got second or third.
Probably.
Yeah. I can't remember. I was looking at that. Rick Clark got another win in a looks like a Suburban that was turned inside out. A lot of derbies.
Ron McClung got a win over the weekend.
Yep,
and Steve Bucknam took second place.
Bad
in the car
Ronnie
that Ron built for him was
I cannot believe that must have been a quick derby because the way Ronnie drives, they really usually don't last all that long. So congratulations.
He's got a bunch of wins.
Yeah, he does, but
he's
they're
got a bunch
quick
of
wins. I
mean,
he's
like 7-minute features.
Yeah. he's not a fan of running them hour and 20-minute features. He wants to go junk stuff, and if he happens to get a trophy, so be it. And if not, he's got 100 more cars he's gonna wreck.
Christy Germain is messaging, and she's laughing about Mark. Mark ended up finishing third, and she just wanted to remind us that it was Devin that got knocked out of his seat against the blocks.
Sorry, Devin. It was, like I said, I wish I would have been there, but we had a strange scrimmage Saturday, and it didn't work out the way I was hoping.
Things went strange all over.
Yeah. We got there at 9 o'clock, and there was 8 teams, and by noon, we'd only played 2 teams and stood for like 2.5 hours and watched.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we played 3 straight at the end. And we only had 7 kids in a 7-on-7. There was one team that had, now it was just a 7-on-7 passing scrimmage, no pads, no nothing. One team had an offense and a defense. They'd come on after. Yeah, so it was
interesting.
Yeah, we were a little, the kids were a little wore out, but we didn't get done till like 2 or a little after. So by the time I made it to Whitney Point, it would have been close to 4.
Yeah, Derby was, I was on my way home by 9:30 or so.
Yeah.
It started at 2, so they had 14 rounds, and they got it done in 7 hours.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. There's a lot of cars there.
Good.
Mike Schmidt rounding out this episode of the Crash Course, episode 232. Again, on deck, wrapping up here. Mike Schmidt joining us online, all ready for the Team Derby in Mandan on Saturday. Mike, how are you?
Oh, good, but I wouldn't say ready.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Tori messaged me and wanted me to ask John if he was going to get his car done, but now I'm more nervous about yours.
I think it's all of them, but you know how it is. Last wire, we'll get them done.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. What do you think of the build rules? Again, things getting a little bit harder, a little closer to that Blizzard Bash style build, so it's going to require a little bit more time investment, but you don't have to worry. You don't have the spindles on the front end, so steering obviously going to be at a premium.
Yeah, I mean, build rules are great, but at the end of the day, you're on a stock spindle, so can we build them as heavy as Blizzard Bash? Not quite, but we're close. I mean, we're going to see how they hold up.
Love that attitude. Gonna see how they hold up.
The shot placement is going to be, I think, in the opening heats, the shot placement is going to be at a premium. The crosshairs are going to be dialed in to see what those cars can take in terms of the steering. And if it doesn't prove that that's a weak point or a point of concern, I think that the Derby's going to open up a little bit more. But I think those opening heats, it's going to be all about those front tires.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be front tires. I mean, the cars are as hard as Blizzard Bash, and at the end of the day, you still got a stock spindle on it, so you're going to have to drive them as well,
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're also going to be fast-paced.
Right.
Usually fast-paced in Mandan.
Well, that's one of the things that everybody likes about it. I mean, it's grown their reputation to be the biggest derby in North Dakota, and it owns every bit of that. When you talk about how they're not being as heavy as Blizzard Bash, that you're still allowed enough stuff up front to make it worthwhile. When those shots that are headed towards the tire, if they're off center, they're either hitting the side of the bumper or they're hitting on the firewall with the cradles and protectors and stuff in there. How much are you concerned about taking a firewall shot? How much concern is there with getting the front frame rail skewed left or right if one of those shots ends up on the side of the bumper?
Well, we'll see after the heat.
Well, I understand.
We're getting our 6, I think it's 6 fix-it plates. If we get through a heat, which is going to be rough, I mean, the cars are going to be messed up pretty good, more than likely. If we get 8 in Blizzard Bash, 6 here, I mean, if we can repair what we know moves, then I think the feature will be good, if we make the feature.
It's going to be a hard one, and it's going to be tough to make it there. That's no question, but it always is. I mean, there's 8 teams on the docket, and all of them are quality teams. I don't think we were talking with John. I don't think that you can easily look at that list and say, you know what, I'm okay if we draw that team. Even if you just do it privately inside your own shop, nobody's okay drawing anybody at this point.
No,
well, we're going to derby one of them. Yeah. I mean, we're going to draw one of them, and either way, it's going to be a stock show. No matter how we look at it, it's just who's going to drive better at the end,
Sure. Coming back to the damage question, I'm not necessarily talking specifically your car or your team or anything like that, but a lot of the conversations that we've had at some of these heavier shows is those hits that come from the side. You guys have firewalls now, and you didn't have those before. And then those frame rails, when they get skewed, if they take a lean one way or the other, is there enough up front where it's going to be able to tolerate some of that, or is it light enough to where a shot can turn those rails in the front and start it leaning and skewing one way or another and really cause problems just by taking one bad hit?
It's hard to say. I mean, is it a direct 45? Is it a 30-degree hit? Is it? I mean, it all changes. But then again, you have. I mean, I think all of our guys are running old iron GMs. So what frame are you running? You know, I mean,
right.
Is it a thin frame? Is it a thick frame? Is it a medium frame? We don't, you know. But we have 50-ton Rams. If we have to, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had to worry about the angle that the hit was coming in, Brian? Was
Never
it 30 degrees?
Never in my life.
It's just, it's so...
Well, out of all of the ones we've been doing between me and Tori, I mean, you guys seen it too last year at Blizzard Bash. We've seen that one move about 9 inches.
Yeah, I know. It's
the passenger side.
Right.
That 03, you know, and we weren't able to fix that. That was bad. That's the worst I've ever seen.
And that can cause problems.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
sets the dominoes in motion anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
I wasn't running down there, but at that same point, I said, "Hey, we need to get 3 cars going, and we're going to have to scratch this one because we're going to spend all day on it, and we might not get it fixed." You know.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, you know, with cars built that hard, you know, people don't think they bend the way they do. But I mean, you know, and I realize these cars aren't quite as hard as the Blizzard Bash cars, but. You know, you go to you even if you win a heat at Blizzard Bash, you are rebuilding your car basically to run it on the next route. I mean, there's something that's bent, something that's broke, something that needs fixing, and that's the thing. I mean, people, you know, when these guys drive them as hard as they do, stuff gets tore up. I mean, there's very few times that you come out of one of these heats, you know, and okay, I'm going to check the fluid and I'm good to go. No, usually you're, you know, got the, you know, like he said, you got the 50-ton Ram, straightening it out of frame so you can put on some fix-it plates and, you know, you're welding this and cutting that and pulling here. And, I mean, there is nothing easy about winning in classes like this. I mean, as hard as these guys drive, you know, they are definitely earning everything they get at the show.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
You know, it's Mandan has definitely become known as, you know, one of the harder hitting events around. So stuff is definitely going to be bent.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of the team preparation, how is the team coming together? I mean, you guys have some similar elements to your driving style. You can say that pretty fairly, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I built Kyle Wetzel's cars for Blizzard Bash, I think, the last 2 years. And I built his car for this show, plus my own. His is done. Mine's not.
I think you did that backwards.
Yeah, how do you do it, though, when it's a customer? You got to make sure you take care of that and your friend, too. You know, it's all got to be done. Either way, both got to be done. You know?
You're right. You're right. How long does it take you to build the car for this show? How many hours did you say?
You don't really want to know that.
Sure, I do.
Average 3 hours of sleep a night for the last 33 days, and I started May 2nd on both of them.
Wow. That's insane.
That's crazy.
Rough. Way rough. Working 12-hour days trying to run a business. You know, it's just busy. Stay going.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, it was hard to walk away from our cars today just for me and Tori to go do a parts run because we're thinking, hey, we got our cars built, but we don't have no extra spindles, we don't have no extra ARs, we don't have any of that.
and very realistically, like the point that Brian was making, it's very conceivable that they would have to rebuild a car in the pits in Mandan, no different than you'd have to do anyplace else because everything is so equal. You know, that's.
Yeah, I mean. What was it, 2000, the first year me and Tori ran, I think it was Jeremy Guthmiller, me, Tori, and Marcus Keller. Tori broke his block in his heat. We literally had 3 hours. We pulled the motor, welded the block. We had no way to bolt the tranny to the block, welded the tranny to the mid plate, and we had him in the feature in less than 3 hours.
Wow, that's insane.
That was rough.
Yeah,
yes,
that's a busy day.
There was probably 15 guys on it. I think we had 3 welders welding the tranny to the mid plate at one time. You know?
That's awesome.
I have a pretty good bunch of group that comes out of the oil field and brings their welding trucks. I mean, that helps, you know.
That's insane.
Kyle Wetzel, Mike Schmidt, Tori Hyde, and John Hase working together on Team Crowd Pleasers. The driving style meshes pretty well. Goals to obviously go out and make the show. The goal, according to John, was just to be able to walk away because it can be so hard there. I know, Mike, you want to get to the feature. We talked a little bit with John about the fact that you guys are due. He says he's feeling it. You guys have had some good runs with some awkward luck. The program's been getting better and better, doing some of the equipment upgrades. What do you think when you hear John say that? I mean, do you share that idea that you guys are maybe owed a little bit of luck and this could be your year?
It's hard to say. I mean, luck is luck. I mean, yeah, I think we'll be in the feature.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be cocky or not either, but I think we'll be in the feature, whether we got to go through the consi or not.
Perfect. Well,
we go through the consi. We'll put our fix-it plates on, we'll repair the cars, and we'll take the cars to its fullest extent in the feature, the consi, and hopefully we make the feature.
Well, I do hope you make the feature. It's going to be a knockout show. I mean, you can't go wrong there. They got a great group of vendors that are going to be there. Near's going to be vending. Derby Tees is going to be there. Coke Coolers is going to be on hand as well. The vendor game has really picked up. Some serious money being paid out. I think it was we said it was $12,000 to win for the team bracket. The support classes they're right there. It's going to be a dynamite show. Dakota Speedway, June the 9th. Mandan Team Derby up there in Mandan, North Dakota. Yeah, June the 9th. Early tech inspection on Friday for those guys. Mike, is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of that helps make sure that the car gets out there?
No, between me, Tori Hyde, and I got Jacob Hafley that comes out and helps a lot. My cousin Stuart Schmidt. Biggest one is probably my wife. I haven't seen my wife in probably 35 days. So I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for the cars to be done, painted, and let's wreck them Saturday, sit on the boat on Sunday.
There you go.
That sounds
like a good plan.
That's an even better plan than John's.
Yeah, I mean, when we get done on Saturday night, cars going, it's getting stuffed in a storage unit, and I don't know when I'll see it again. It's been a rough month, so.
Well, we wish you the best of luck getting out there, and hopefully everybody stays safe. That's the big thing, and on top of that, we wish you luck in that
absolutely.
Feature. Hopefully you can take one home.
I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll see ya.
Bye now. There goes Mike Schmidt. We covered a lot of stuff today.
You went across the country.
We did. We were international. We're talking about Canada. It was a lot. And, it's good to see Eddie Chick picking up the win too. That was cool.
Did he get a win?
I'm pretty I remember seeing something on Facebook about it.
Yeah,
so
I couldn't.
Or second place rather, something along that.
Yeah.
I just like seeing him do well.
Good dude.
You know what we didn't do? Yeah, at all.
What's that?
Any of the ads. Stern Dirt Racing.
We need those.
Stern Dirt Racing is going to be in action June the 23rd, 7 o'clock start time in Ogden, Utah. It's the return of the Golden Spike, $30,000 in payout being handed out. The Iron Class, $5,000 to win with Imperials and 03 Vicks legal. The front-wheel drives are going for $1,000 to win as well. The next big show is going to be the 2-day Wasatch Wipeout, July 27th and 28th in Heber City, Utah. $90,000 in prize money there, $25,000 to win. 2-day program. Heats the first day. Grudges and features the second. Fifth through last in that main event, the Wasatch Wipeout, taking home $1,000 each.
Not bad.
$5,000 Mad Dog Award. Farm trucks, front wheel drives, in the passenger class. Each of those three classes has a $4,500 payout on the line for them. Coming up in 2 weeks. We talked about Canandaigua Motorsports Park. It's Land of Legends.
Land of Legends Speedway.
Yeah, Brian Simple Memorial Compact Derby. Coming up on Saturday for those guys. Spinning Wheels Productions, June the 16th, the Mini Meltdown. 105 cars registered in the main compact class. $4,000 to win, $2,000 to $1,000 on down. Heats and feature format. You're going to have to work for it if you're going to take that money. The field is full. $1,000 Mad Dog, as well as the Otsego County Fairgrounds in Morris, New York. There's one-and-done classes as well. $500 to win, plus 75% of the entries for the Economy V8, Limited Weld V8, full-size trucks, and compact trucks online, spinningwheelsproductions.com. Brookfield Wheel Days, that's coming up in the fall, September the 22nd, at the Madison County Fairgrounds in Brookfield, New York. It is overseen by King Smash from Crash from Demolition Derbies. They got a derby coming up on the 29th of June at Brewerton Speedway, so it's kind of cool that their Speedway series is expanding. They're going to be at Utica Rome this year as well. Brookfield Wheel Days is an annual fall cleanup. There's going to be 150, 175 cars there, easy. King Smash from Crasham also oversees the Madison County Fair in Brookfield, which is July 12th and 14th. The Fair Championship pays $1,000 for first place in the compacts and $1,500 to the winner of the full-size division. You can find more information online, facebook.com/King Smash from Crasham, or online at MadisonCountyFairNY.com. HIllbillyHeaven.com. Chaos in the Valley. We got to see a couple weeks ago at Bash for Cash, a bunch of the guys from down in Woodstock, Virginia, trying their luck at that gigantic show that we always talk about, the Memorial Day staple, Bash for Cash. They've got their own in the fall. Everybody wants to be part of this one. October the 20th is the date. Showtime's 5 o'clock at the Shenandoah County Fairgrounds in Woodstock, Virginia. Jason Shipe and Penny Shipe are in charge of it. They oversee all of it. Compact, stock V8s, modified V8s in the SUV class. Heats and features for the compacts. If needed, they'll do heats and features with the other classes, but the explanation went out. Plan for heats and features, but if there's only 15, 18 cars, they'll do one and dones for the stock V8s and the modifieds. Brian Schumann has been on a roll down there. Jason Koch has found a lot of success down there. Mike Klinger has run well down there. Josh Corletto coming up with a win in the fall, in April. So we'll have to see if he can turn it around. Compacts, running heats for sure. Stock V8, modified V8, SUV class, monster builds, monster payouts. It all goes to benefit Townsbrook Volunteer Fire Department. Online, Facebook.com/Chaos Valley. Rounding it out as we've gone over our hour of allotted time. Blizzard Bash 2018, the Kansas Expo Center in Topeka, Kansas. November the 7th is the heat draws, the pit party from 7 to 10 o'clock. November the 8th is the opening round of qualifying for the national bracket and the qualifying team bracket. That starts at 4 o'clock. November the 9th is the heat draw for the compact and limited weld teams at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we've got round 2 for the national teams and the qualifying bracket teams. November the 10th is a doubleheader, 10 o'clock start time there. Compact and limited weld opening rounds for those teams, and then at 6 o'clock we come back for all the Team B features, the trucks, the limited weld one and done. November the 11th is Championship Sunday, 1 o'clock start, Bone Stocks, 80s Mod, and all the Team A mains. And that concludes everything that we had to do there. I think we did all right with it.
We did.
We did.
Got the bills paid. That's important.
That's usually good, right?
Usually.
Usually. All right, so we got all that stuff. Anything else you wanted to hit?
No, I think we're good.
Got in here just in time to listen to a couple cool interviews.
I did.
And we finished up all of our notes. I think we hit on everything that we needed to hit on. Again, we talked about BJ Haining. Stern Dirt's got some stuff coming up. Yep.
I think this weekend, Smash It starts their normal schedule of 73 shows in Ohio between now and Labor Day. Something crazy like that.
You know what? I was behind a week on that. I didn't realize that was already.
Is it this week?
Time goes so fast anymore. I thought it was next week.
It might be. I think it's 16th. What's that? That's 2 weeks, right?
Hang on. I'm getting in there. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's the 16th. I think they had 2 weeks between Bash for Cash.
Yeah, Pickaway County Fair in Circleville, Ohio, street stock class, compact, and mod cars is June the 16th, and the
same day as Mini Meltdown.
Yep, the schedule is events. There it is. Had to find it. Yep, there it is. Pads are based on 12 entries for them, and it starts with the 16th, and then they have 3 more shows the rest of this month, and then after that, don't bother counting. It's just insane. Just insane. So yeah, online, smashitderby.com for more details on the Pickaway County Fair in Circleville. After that, Stark County Fairgrounds in Canton, Ohio, 7:30 start time there. Smash It Leaf class, mini cars, full-size, compact trucks, stock wire class, and the Power Wheels on the 23rd of June. On the 27th of June, Harrison County Fair in Cadiz, Ohio. Smash It Leaf class, mini cars, trucks, stock wire class, and Power Wheels. Again, online, smashitderby.com. If you want more information on the Hillbilly Heaven Demolition Derby, you can jump on Facebook and look up Big Rock Productions. They've got their own promotership now that's a little bit separate of the part stuff. So you got Big Rock Derby products and then Big Rock Productions too. Cool. I don't know if I said that when we were talking with Dave, but make sure we got that covered. So I guess without any further ado, I guess that's where we're at, right?
Stick a fork in it.
Fork in it, and it's done. Episode 232 in the books. Thanks a lot for listening. That's going to do it for us here at the North Park Building at Academy Square. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, congratulations to all our winners on the weekend. Awesome show at Road Rage, and a bunch of the folks that we know coming up with good runs through the course of the weekend. We look forward to talking more about it next Monday after we set the stage for Spinning Wheels Mini Meltdown. We'll be talking more about that one next Monday as we get ready for that derby. The season is upon us. Season is upon us. Yeah, you got about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks to get your car put back together. You gonna make it?
Probably.
It's solid.
I might not do a lot to it. It may just be a quick wash job and a paint job, and not even throughway.
Not even gonna pull it down.
We'll see.
Sounds good. That's gonna do it for us. We'll see everybody next time.
Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.